Alrighty, let's try this again. So, I've been working online a little bit and seeing if I can make things go a little bit better. I was having trouble with editing earlier, but I think now I just about have it. So, let's get into it. I am trying to get 1,000 subscribers because I want to spread the word about conspiracies, and that is not what it's limited to. It's everything that is either hidden or that there's multiple opinions about, yes or no. It can be about politics, it could be about cryptozoology, it could be about mythology, it could be about legends. Cryptozoology is something that ties in with those two. I can make a video on that later on. It's basically just say like legendary creatures like mermaids and nymphs, fairies, werewolves, vampires, typical pop culture things that, like Twilight and whatever tries to make into fun little fantasy stories. Anyway, it's also about things that happen in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, with things like movies, TV shows, music, and how it affects society and how society affects it, and how TV shows have and movies have evolved, and the, like, let's say even radio, how it's evolved, how let's say music and pop culture have influenced especially the youth, but society at large, and how it seems like the more advanced we get as a civilization, the more corrupt we become. It seems like the more we're demonizing quote unquote normal and we're promoting weird, which is not in and of itself bad, but at the same time, it's like just to, well, I'm getting a little off topic, I guess. Anyway, so even with politics and cover-ups, one of the videos that I posted about JFK, another thing that I posted about with I've been posting recently about Jordan Maxwell, him and David Wilcock or Good, Linda Moulton Howe, they all kind of have the same ideas. Jordan Maxwell, I would say, is a little more on the side of agnostic, whereas the other ones gear toward, not sure exactly. I still haven't quite figured that out, but it does seem like Jordan more focuses on information, whereas the other ones focus on the the meat to the information they offer. So anyway, yeah, it's just this channel is just all about trying to figure out where the truth lies, what it actually is, and what's being hidden. Hopefully, not getting flagged or reported, because there was a video that I found recently, and this has happened before, where David Wilcock was being interviewed by someone, and he brought up about someone who had discovered free energy and among other things, and how if anything had happened to David, that he would essentially be considered a martyr, and that, much like the quote from Star Wars, they would make him even more powerful than he is now. So I was I wanted to share that video the next day, so I set it aside. And when I looked for the video again, the content was removed, and then it was just a completely different, all different thumbnails, as if it had completely, the whole system had been calibrated. So that just tells you right there, there's something very interesting going on. And that's only just with that one video that I found. There's many examples of that happening. There have been examples where people have correlated the Bible to the Mayan calendar and have tried to explain how current world governments or recent world governments can correlate to what different prophecies have to say, and all different ancient civilizations, just what they say and what they do and how it's really proven. And I'll tell you, a lot of the interests that I have in Dolores Cannon and Edgar Casey is for that too, because they talk about past life regression, and whether it's real or not, it's interesting how much of what they've come across has been verified and how much of it is all common theme, because all these random people that don't know each other, and some of them may be involved in the community, but overall, I'm sure that none of these average people going to her organization, I'm sure that they haven't gone through the net and found all these different common threads to just go over it in during a regression session. So between that and Edgar Cayce and how he's the most well-documented psychic of the century, if I remember right, and that just, it amazes me how people can be so closed-minded to it. I get it if to an extent. I understand people thinking that it's evil. Even still, though, the phrase "keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer." So even if you're not practicing it or you don't believe in it, you should still know about it. And that's just one of my peeves, I guess, because people shut down so quick when you'll talk about how different things in the world either are going wrong or different things you dislike about technology or about governments or legends and where they came from. And people will talk about it, and they'll talk about the facts that they know and the news articles. And then everything that points to something going on that we're not being told about, or that's not at least being worded specifically, like they'll say it in so many words. Once you bring that up, then you're crazy, or, well, maybe. And it's good to be skeptical about everything. I do agree that you should have a level mind, but at the same time, not to just shut everything down. Just because something doesn't agree with what you've believed for years, or just because something sounds too ridiculous to be true, sometimes it is, and sometimes it isn't. And there are times where the truth is very much more insane than fiction. I mean, really, the stories that these these different people come up with to hide what they're doing, there's a million different examples I could give. And again, I don't want for this video to be flagged, so I don't want to be too specific about the information I know from the years I've been studying it. I'm going to be experimenting with that throughout this channel, figuring out exactly what to post and how to go about it, because there's so much information that I have to share, and there's so many more people that are out there who they know more than I do. They have correlating information to what I found, and I want to either take the information they have and put it out there, crediting them, or even correlate with them somehow, figure out how to maybe communicate with them, depending if I'm able to. If David Wilcock's out there and he sees my channel, then I would love to do that. Same with, I don't think Jordan Maxwell is around anymore. I believe that he is passed. I could be wrong on that. I'm quite positive I found that out a couple months ago. And if I'm wrong on that, then awesome. Someone tell me, because I would really, I love whatever new information that he might have. So that'd be great. Dolores Cannon, I know, is passed. So still, though, and also Edgar Cayce. So pretty much 2 out of the maybe 5 people I've mentioned are passed away, but their information is out there. They have organizations that are still spreading the word, and they're amazing. And also, I almost forgot, Robert Monroe Institute. That's another one that they teach guided meditation for astral projection. That's another thing I'm interested in. It's anything to do with either the non-physical, and I include ETs in that because many believe that there's a spiritual aspect to them, so I'll consider them under that umbrella, and the physical that tries to hide the abnormal, I suppose, because you would technically consider vampires or werewolves to be of the physical world, but they're not of our culture. Outside of pop culture, they're not. It's nothing that you would believe is real. Same as reptilians, which falls under ETs, so I already said that. Anyway, so yeah, just when it comes to all these things, I have such an interest in all these things, and I've met many people in my life who share that same interest, then my channel is exponentially growing right now. So for a new channel, it's doing pretty well. Subscriber rate is going up every day. I'm over 500 hours of views. So clearly there's something that people are interested in. And the more I post on specific topics, the more views I'm getting. So that tells me that there is an audience out there for this. There are people who agree with it, or they at least think on the same kind of line. So I would really like for people to comment on the channel, comment on the videos. I can put my email out there. I don't mind that for the business, and I'll take whatever info that you want to give me. I'll converse with you. I want to know what you think I should post. I want to know what your thoughts are, what I've already posted. I want to talk about where this channel should be going, what I should focus more on, maybe how to organize the videos. I have other social media now, so I'm using Twitter, Instagram. I just came out with a Patreon account. And what was the other thing? Let's see, I tried to create a Facebook. I'm still trying to figure out how to make it a brand and not as a person. So that I'm still navigating. But even with that, I want for this to be a platform to discuss any sort of, all sorts of abstract things, that whether you just want to talk or whether you believe in it. Either way, I just want it to be that's what I'm going for. So comment, like the videos, subscribe. I just want to spread the message. I want people to come together on all the platforms I have. You could still find me on other platforms as All Seeing Kai. I just changed the YouTube to that. It looks like it hasn't updated yet. So sometimes there's certain tabs that will have the updated picture, and there's some tabs that won't. So I'm not quite sure exactly. I'm not positive. Whatever the case is, I want to see what people's opinions are. I want to see where you guys think I should be taking the channel. I want to know your opinions. I know I'm kind of being redundant on that, but really, I'm so serious. I want your opinions. I want your thoughts on what more I should post about and more detail. I know that the JFK posts I made were the first ones to become very popular, so I can look more into those theories, and I can see whatever I can find. It doesn't have to be necessarily the videos I find. I can make my own sort of content on whether it's, I don't know, an old picture that you think might have something to do with the current information. Then also you can still check on my other social media accounts for non-videos, and I'll see what I can post on there. Everything, it's all about what we all want to dive into. This channel is for everyone. It's for everyone who's into cryptozoology. It's for legends, mythology, so-called mythology. It's for conspiracy theories, ETs, government cover-ups. I mean, really, it's for everything. All those different things, that is what I want. I want it to be something where anyone who has an interest in those things can come together, and they can comment. They can I need a little more feedback, because I've had a few comments on my videos, and it's great. I'm enjoying that people are interacting. I love that. I want people to interact. I want this to really grow, but I need a little more. I need to know what everyone thinks. I'm posting a lot more, and I'm posting very long videos, and I'm doing everything I can to find some of the best content I can offer. So I just need your help. I need for you to tell me what you want as a subscriber, as a viewer. I will do the best I can to give it to you. So the comment section is open, and I do read every comment that I have on every video. I really appreciate all the feedback I can get. Just anything. I'm okay with whatever you want to say, positive or negative. I'll take it. I want to know, whoever is watching my videos, I will do the best I can to give you the content that you want. I just have ultimate interest in this topic, whether you believe in any of these different things or you don't. Some of them you do, some of them you don't, or whatever. Well, hello, Barbara A. How are you doing? Interested in your thoughts on unauthorized views on our cameras through our phones, laptops, iPads, etc., while using apps. Yes, that was one of the videos that I posted recently where it talks about how on any given device you have with a webcam, assumingly with a webcam, I don't quite know if they have a way of doing it without one. Maybe there is a way. Whatever the case is, there's a way of they have AI that can track facial recognition, but this is different. It's not the same as it used to be. Well, at least to my knowledge, what it used to be. Maybe it was always capable of doing this. So the same kind of tech that they have used in movies and TV shows for, let's say, characters like with Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. They made his facial features on the movie as Davy Jones look exactly like the actor. So they're using that same technology, figured out how through a webcam to track the muscle movements, the bone structure, skin quality, I'm sure, all these things that they've come up with algorithms of figuring out what we're feeling, what expressions we have. I'm not. I don't know how down to the molecule they have it, but it seems pretty accurate because looking at the video I just posted, they they can see whatever you're feeling for a TV show, for a movie, for a commercial, and that's how they cater to it. That's how they keep adjusting where the TV show's going or how the movie is going to be or the ads that they're using. And then it moves on into this headgear that it's like science fiction, and people used to laugh at this stuff, and it's real now. There's really, like this episode of House, if anyone's ever seen it, where a woman, whatever her issue was with, I think it was for sleep deprivation, it might have been sleep paralysis. Whatever it was, she was having problems. So they used some sort of tech that at the time of the recording of the show, this was science fiction. I'm sure it wasn't actually because they probably found some lab that really had this. Whatever the case was, they put a sort of a helmet on her, and they were able to track her the brainwaves and come up with a very, very fuzzy, grainy picture, sort of a video showing what she was dreaming about. Fast forward a few years, and now we have something that can track the brainwaves. From what they said, it's multiple, I think it was trillions of options for where the movie would be able to go. So it's not necessarily your thought. It's just geared toward that. That's where they're leading to. For right now, it's how strong you focus on whatever it may be, and that's the direction that the movie will go. So then there was another, I want to say, a demonstration, I believe, by Mark Zuckerberg. I'll have to find the video again and I'll share it later on, where he talks about that they're coming up with artificial intelligence that will now read your thoughts and convert it to text message, because a phone call isn't good enough, and neither is what do you call it, audio, the speech to text. That's it, because those aren't good enough. Which, it seems cool, it seems great. I would love to be able to. Everything's all about convenience, right? Everything. You'll go. It's more convenient to have the Google Swipe thing, so you don't have to type in 100 different keywords. It's great to have the voice to text, even though it hardly ever works for anyone. It usually doesn't understand people that well. But whatever it is, then it goes into the different apps that we use, like games and such. It asks permission to access your camera, asks permission to access your voice, the microphone. And because, like, for example, with YouTube earlier, there's a new option that I noticed on the app where it said it has to have access to your microphone. And I'm sure they already have these accesses, but it's just better for them if they get your permission so that you can't sue them, which who's going to sue them anyway? Anyway, so I'm talking about YouTube on YouTube Live. Anyway, so whatever the case is, it has access to these different things. And even though it's neat, it's one of those things that if anyone recalls back in the days of Edward Snowden, where he had talked about what was going on with certain branches of, shall we say, governing forces, being careful on my words so that I don't get flagged, but the point being that these, let's say, entities that, authorized or not, will just, for back of any real word, um, every app so they can have their free, yeah, exactly, they have free focus groups, exactly. Yeah, it's you're trading in your freedom for your convenience. Everything is all about convenience, and they're taking information from people who are not, they're not uh, they're not consenting to any of this. Half the people, more than half the people that they're doing this for, don't even know that they're being recorded. They don't have a clue. So it, I don't know how, I don't know how they're getting away with it outside of the fact that most people, the people that do know about it, I really don't know. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but it's just, it's so, it's frightening. It's frightening how any, I mean, you have your webcam open, you have no idea. It doesn't have to be a governing force. It can be, they had a news article a long time ago that through these baby, what do you call the things for babies? It's, what do you call those things? I mean, there's baby toys too, but they had something for the radios in the baby's room. Words are not coming to me, but they were hacking into those, and they were listening into what's going on in your home, and who knows what these people were thinking of, if it was people that were trying to do harm, or if it was people that they were just testing different hack methods. I mean, who knows? And then there was another theory that I've heard about the pixels on computers and TVs, any type of a screen you have, that there is at least a pixel that is a webcam. And again, it goes into just being open-minded, not believing everything you hear, because that is a little far-fetched in my opinion. Then there's another one, and I would love to find this on Facebook again. There was a video I saw about hacking into screens. It's just screens. If you have a new screen, it's got a motherboard, because I don't know since when, but apparently all these new screens that aren't the big boxes, they have motherboards. So what hackers will do is they wirelessly, yeah, exactly, maybe monitors. Back in the day, they would pick up people's phone conversations on, yeah, right, exactly. They would tap into phone conversations. That's right. Yeah, now we have wireless, so it doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. And it seems like the cordless phones are better than anything. It's gone the other way around. But yeah, so people, their screens will be hacked into. The computer, essentially, of the screen will be hacked. And they have a technology where, so for TeamViewer, and I use it myself, I enjoy it. I'm just saying that this is apparently what they use. They'll hack into the motherboard, share the screen on TeamViewer. They'll have something like, let's say, a fake Facebook. It'll look legit, but it'll be their own page. You'll log into it, not being any the wiser, putting your own information in there. It'll maybe say you've been logged out because of whatever reason, and some people wouldn't think much of it. So they'll go and put in their full name, their password, and everything that you need to log in. So then the hacker will have that information to log into their real Facebook and see what information they can gather from that person's real Facebook. And then it goes the same for credit cards. And now we're talking about, if you saw in the news, I want to say a few months ago, the slide thing for the credit card that you put it into the machine, those things have removable hacking devices that they look exactly the same as the legitimate ones, but you can remove them. They're the same thing as for when you're swiping the card at, like, let's say Shaw's, any of these different things that I know that Wendy's had a hack a while back. So people will get the information off the cards that way and be able to steal all your money. And I mean, who knows about your credit? Who knows what it'll do to that? Because everything people have, again, it's a matter of convenience. you want to attach this account to that account, to that account, to that account. You want to have this card under that and that card under this. You want to have Google remember this card and that card, YouTube remember this card and that card, which is great for daily life. But then you have to be concerned about anyone who gets one thing that you have is likely to have everything you have. That once they get one thing, that's like having the same password everywhere you go. And even with this chip technology, there's a way around it. There's a way around everything. And if it's not that there's a loophole, it's that there's a black market and there's people that are just like the movie 17 again, if anyone recalls that from years back, where one of the characters says that he came up with the technology for music artists to keep their music from being illegally downloaded. And then he also came up with the technology for people to illegally download on that technology. So he was making money on both sides. And it's not false. That really happens. People don't care and they'll do whatever they want for a buck. And so anyway, that's just one of the many different things that I like to talk about, because you don't think about this on a daily, or even if you do think about it, it's not something you're overly concerned about. You'll watch commercials about LifeLock or whatever services that things like Verizon offer, and I'm sure these companies are honest. It's just the fact that we need them. It's where technology is going, and everyone is so free to give all their information just for convenience. And you don't know. You do know to an extent who's got access to your stuff, but then it's scary. It is scary how people will just give up their information and they don't care. It's very frightening and it's disturbing. It's something that we need to go backward on this a little bit. What happened to writing things down instead of keeping everything in a Google file? So anyway, to the new people watching, this channel is just all about not just conspiracies, it's all about anything to do with legends, mythology. It's for anyone interested in the supernatural, like whether ghosts or just anything. I mean, cryptozoology, if you know what that is. And I'm trying to find content online to share with you and my own stuff. I'm getting better at editing, so I'll be sharing that also. Just sharing my own 2 cents on the things that I've studied and that I've found out. And the world is so much more crazy than most people in their daily life think of it. So it's just something that I've always had an interest in, and I want this to be a community. I want it to be people giving me feedback on what their thoughts are with the things I'm posting, so that I can kind of gear it toward what my viewers want. I want it to be something where everyone can come together with an open mind and discuss these things. I don't want it to just be one sort of topic. It's for many different things. So that's why I'm asking for the 1,000 subscribers, because I know with the views I've had, it's been over 500 hours, close to 6 now, and it's just about a month. And over 30 subscribers and growing, which for a new channel, I mean, that's pretty good. So I know there's people out there that are interested in this. Whether you believe these things or agree with them or not, either way, it's something that that I'm interested in hearing what you have to say, and just check out what I share. It's food for thought. It's stuff that, like the JFK, I think that in itself had over 500 views, even more possibly since last I checked. That was one of the most viral videos I've had. So people are interested in these things, and I want it to be an open forum. I really want people to be interested in talking about these things and sharing their views. And even it doesn't matter whether you believe them or not. I'm not saying I believe in all these different things. It's just something that I'd like to get more of a dialogue going about them. And there's so many things out there that I want to talk about. So yeah, just subscribe, comment, like, I mean, whatever interaction you want. I've got Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's All Seeing Kai on all of them. YouTube is still updating. It's still Conspiracy Kyle. It told me that it would take probably a couple days for it to kick in. So for YouTube, it's probably going to stay that way for a bit. But yeah, you can find me anywhere at All Seeing Kai. It's just I want people's feedback. I want to make this into the most. I want to bring all the conspiracy theorists and all the people that study extraterrestrials and ghosts. I want to bring it all together. There's a million channels out there, and I want to put myself out there and see what type of stuff we can come up with. I mean, that's why I've got the camera on the pyramid right now. Which, I mean, even the pyramid itself, there's theories about why on the dollar bill there's supposed to be, I want to say, 70 some odd different. Oh, thank you. I like the pyramid too. So there's theories on why the pyramid is on the dollar bill. There's theories on what the different phrases on the dollar bill mean. I mean, like, what's it called? Inuit. I used to know this. New World Order is what one of the tags translations is on one of the scrolls, and under it supposedly translates to, I think it's in his name. So there's tons of people that have different ideas about what that could mean. And then you look at the number of arrows and the number of leaves on the olive branch that the eagle is holding, and how they correlate to the numbers in Freemasonry. And there are some that say that the eagle on the dollar bill is actually a representation of the phoenix from Greek mythology. So it's the phoenix rising from the ashes, the golden age of the New World Order. And then the amount of bricks on the pyramid is supposed to be each age that we've gone through, and the height of it being the golden age, which then you talk about the Mayan calendar and how the golden age isn't really the end. That was misinterpreted. It's supposed to be the beginning of the new era of ages, where, I mean, who knows? There's all different theories out there, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here to learn. I'm here to share more. I'm here for feedback. There's too much out there that I want to figure all this out. I want to figure everything out, and I want to keep learning for the rest of my life, and I want to help others see more, because the more you learn about this stuff and the more you see that it's plausible, and you see the cover-ups, and you see how things just are not what they seem. And I mean, even one of the videos I posted recently about the computer simulation by Linda Moulton Howe, it talks about how, for all we know, we are in a computer simulation. And it's like the Matrix. I mean, how do you really know? It's all these crazy things that happen, things appearing and disappearing, the different people that supposedly have, well, I'm not even going to get on that topic, but let's just say that there are so many different theories out there. Who knows what's real? Who knows what's not? So I want this to just go crazy on whatever theories or legends people have. Share with me whatever thoughts you have. Share with me any sort of pictures you might have, or videos of these different things. Whether, I mean, I've seen supposed pictures of werewolves. People have tried to show me pictures of vampires, and there's a museum, I think it's in Russia, where a man had dedicated his life to researching cryptozoology, and the museum is all of his findings of supposedly the vampires, the werewolves, the nymphs and fairies, and I mean, supposedly they're real. The manuscripts of where he found them, so that you can go searching for them yourself. I mean, who really knows? And I mean, there's so much information from David Wilcock, from David Icke, and Linda Moulton Howe. I say the names a lot because if people don't know about these people, if you don't know about them, look them up. They have such amazing information. They talk about where we were decades ago, even centuries ago, where we are now. And Linda is one of the ones that the research that she was doing, the video I watched a long time ago was talking about that when they were on a trail, that they came back to their equipment and it was all wiped away. The same thing that happened to a man from the time of Tesla, that he was coming up with a source of free energy. He left his house for 2 hours one day, and he came back to his apartment, to his lab, and everything was wiped out clean. So whatever entity or entities it is that are doing these things, someone, something wants to hold us back, and they're taking our desire for convenience, and they're making us, they're, shall I say, persuading us to give up all of our freedom. And then they're pitting us against each other with politics, left and right. No one in the Republican side is listening to the Democratic side. No one with the Democrats is listening to the Republicans. Everyone just wants their own way. And this whole crazy thing with Donald Trump's wall, whether it's racist or whether it's for the good of the US, I mean, it all goes back and forth. And then Hillary Clinton with the supposed email scandal, or Benghazi, I mean, and the fact that if any or all of that was true, the fact that she was still running for president, never mind behind bars, and then Trump with, I mean, who knows what's true about the collusion with him or not, whether it's actually that there is a million things wrong with him that the Democrats are trying to broadcast to the American people, or if it is a conspiracy that he has done nothing wrong and the Democrats, for whatever reason, they want him out. Maybe he is doing good for America, and there's someone or some ones on the left that they don't want the best for America. I mean, he is a businessman. He's not a politician. He just came from that. So it's one of those things, who's right, who's wrong. It seems even like all the facts are different. You watch CNN and they give a different perspective than Fox. And when you talk about perspectives, it seems like they're using different facts. I mean, you see different numbers on both of these. So what's real? I mean, who really voted for who? Is our political system correct in how we vote? Does a vote actually matter? Is it all to do with the elite? Are the government officials that we have the ones that count? Are people above them? Are they puppets to a puppet master? I mean, there's so many different questions, and I have more people that I follow that talk about that also. I'll have to share them later on. Truthfully, I've discovered them so recently, I forget what their names even are, but I'll get that info out later on if people are interested, because I know that voting is a huge hot topic right now, whether it really counts or not, and honestly, whether as a nation or as a world, we are so far gone from having freedom. Does it even matter? Do the governing forces, whether the ones that we elect and know exist, or the ones that are legendary and like urban legend, are they so powerful that it doesn't matter anymore? And then on that same note, going a step further, entities above them, let's say if aliens exist, or angels and demons, or if Lucifer is real. And I mean, all these different theories, that does it really matter? Is the world really destined to burn? Do we have a chance? Is there any point to fighting this battle? So yeah, it's every idea anyone has, I'm open to it. I want to update my videos. I want to see what I should focus on. I'm gonna keep on surfing around the net, and I'm gonna keep talking to the people I talk to and finding different things to post about. There's too many things out there that are not, they don't seem to be common knowledge or broadcasted enough that people have a good idea of what's going on. And I mean, people go about their lives. They go about their 9-to-5 lives, and you pay your mortgage, you pay your car payment, you pay your insurance. And that's another thing. Cost of living is so high, and it's getting higher, and it's getting higher. And if people don't know how to make money residually, you will trade all of your hours on this earth for 15 an hour to buy things that you can't afford to impress people you don't even like half the time. And it's just the hamster wheel. You're not going anywhere. You spend your life from often 15, if not younger, until you're in your 60s. So you live about 25 years of your life doing whatever you want, if your family has money when you're younger, and then if you manage to have money when you're older, you can have fun. And then the rest of the time you live for your week vacation, sometimes two, and you live for your 2-day weekend. Then you blow all your money on whatever type of stuff just to keep you sane, and all the rest of the money goes to bills. I mean, rent is so high, the mortgage is so high, cars. I mean, people want to buy these luxurious cars, and it's who doesn't want to live well? Obviously, anyone would want a beach house, or anyone would want a large house or a nice car. But society is teaching us to use these things and to buy them when we don't have the money, we don't have the source to get the money. I mean, so many people can't even find full-time work, and they can't even find a job with benefits. So they're so focused on paying cost of living that they can't really research this stuff. And people that have families, they can't do anything about it. People that are like, let's say, even doctors, you go through hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt, if not even more than that. And I mean, that's if you can get a job in the medical field, and that's not just doctors, that's many professions that we do need. But the sad thing about it is that there's such corruption there, because it's pill pushing. It's all about keeping patients sick, which we all know that's true. It's, to a healthy patient is a customer lost, essentially. So people will go to the doctor and they'll get diagnosed with this disease, that illness, this or that, the other thing. You're considered a hypochondriac, or maybe you're Munchausen's or Munchausen's by proxy. And people just are made to think they're crazy. You have different, I mean, and some people, unfortunately, they live their life with a disease or with an illness, and there's nothing regular doctors will do. There was a video, another one I should find, of a policeman who talks about his young daughter that had brain cancer. And hopefully I can find the video later to prove what I'm talking about. But he had said that as a policeman, he had gotten a skill for knowing if people are honest or not. He had taken our daughter to the doctor, and she had radiation treatment and chemo and the whole 9 yards. She was given however long to live because it just wasn't helping. So he looked up this doctor who, I don't know if it was a licensed doctor, because regular doctors are supposed to promote pharma, so I don't really know for sure. But this was an all-natural healer, let's say. And when the doctor put the officer's daughter on a strict diet, and he said that the girl got better. She was cured of her cancer. She ended up not surviving, but from the, what do you call it? From the words just are not coming to me tonight. From the autopsy, he said that the cancer, she had passed away cancer-free. The only thing that happened was that she had had such radiation poisoning in her skull, it caved in. So that right there, chemo is a poison. It was intended as a poison, the same as fluoride is poison. And the success rate of cancer survivors you are considered a cancer survivor if you survive past a year into remission. Or I don't think it's remission. I think if you can survive a year into cancer. I'll have to look that up again. And I mean, I know there's information I don't know about these things, so I'm not trying to speak as an authority on them. I'm not saying I know everything about doctors, or that every doctor is the same, or the doctoral field is all the same. No, it's the way the system works. It puts bad people in power, and it has good people running around like headless chickens trying to pay for just a decent way to live, not knowing any better about these things. And the fact that doctors are not even yeah, Chris, I agree. It's a horrible story. It's sad though. It's horrible because it happens. I mean, it does. And you hear stories time and time again about this. I mean, in my own family and family friends, I've known of probably 10 people who've passed away from cancer, and almost everyone is the same story. First of all, something about non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And again, I don't speak as authority. I don't know everything, so please don't hate on me if don't be offended. I'm just going by my own experiences. But that I have probably known 4 people that specific form of cancer has taken. And everyone is prescribed the same treatments, and they don't work. They don't work. But doctors don't, I shouldn't say doctors, it's the people above doctors won't do anything about it. I mean, there are even patients that have such horrible diseases or illnesses that doctors won't even touch them because, like, let's talk about the movie Doctor Strange. I mean, again, pop culture reference, but it's true. When he's driving in the car and he's talking to one of his associates who he mentions this patient, something about, I think she was the one that had a bullet in her head. It might have been that one. Whatever the patient was, he says he doesn't want to ruin his perfect record. And it's true, because doctors, if they do any malpractice, if they're convicted of it, they lose their job, their license, their house, their car, I mean, maybe their spouse, their kids, who knows what. So because, I mean, yes, they make good money, but they have such amounts of debt from the school over the years to get that money. They have to spend the rest of their lives paying it back. And then they'll get the kickbacks from the pharma companies. They'll get people who want to pay them off to promote this drug or that drug, which, you want to know what's funny, is that if you look at, I'll have to find out where to find this, because there is a statistic, I believe Dave Ramsey says this, so I'm going to have to look on his website. Dave Ramsey, he is fantastic. I love his courses on finances. Financial Peace University is fantastic, as a side note. But he says that more time and money goes into commercials than actual television shows, and probably more than movies, but the movies is just my own thought. So he has said that more time and money goes into those things. So that right there should tell you it's all about buying. It's about customers. They're entertaining you on the side. If you buy a service, if you subscribe to a service like, let's say, Netflix or Hulu, how many commercials do you see even with those subscriptions? You'll see hardly let's say a 20-minute show can last an easy 45 minutes with all the commercials. It's all about commercials. Everything is all about, I mean, and that's why they have stores set up the way they are. You're checking out from a store, and I mean, yeah, great for marketing, but it's all about sales. It's all about money. Holidays come around, and holidays and weekends are just an excuse to work more, to get paid extra hours. They don't exist anymore. At the airport, I went to the airport on Christmas Day. Starbucks was open. People at baristas are open on holidays, and there is just no amount of money you can pay for something like that. It's awful that society is giving up on all its values. So back to the whole doctor, I got Chris, some doctors forget about their responsibility to the human race and are swindled by the big yeah, no, exactly, they are. It's horrible. It's awful. And like, there's someone in my family specifically who is struggling right now with a disease that it could be, let's see how to word this. It's something that's incredibly rare, and could be life threatening, but I think that the proper wording was that this person's particular one wasn't or isn't life threatening, but it's a disease that could be. So it's kind of like, it's like diabetes. You can, anyway, so getting off that, but there's maybe 2 doctors that this person has seen that listen, they care, they want to help, and they get so wrapped up and so just caught up in the money and the lifestyle. I mean, heck, these pharma companies, that they'll give them a new pill and they'll send them on a quote business trip out to, let's say, Hawaii, so that they can go to a 2-hour long lecture on what this drug is all about, what it does, and then they get whatever kind of money for every time they can sell the drug, because then the copay goes to the insurance. Part of that money from the insurance, if I have my information correct, it goes to the pharma company that sells that drug, and then they give the extra kickback on top of that to the doctor. So everything is all about revolving money. The world just revolves around money. And it's so sad. The Hippocratic Oath, I'm pretty positive that if doctors do still give that, the part about saving lives and never doing anything to obstruct from that, that was taken away a long time ago. And I could be wrong. I'll double check, but there's many things I'm double checking. I know some information I know off the top of my head. There are other things that thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I mean, this is what I do. This is what I've loved all my life. And I've had such amazing conversations with people who know what they're talking about, and some people who laugh at it. And it's just, I'm so bothered whenever people, like, I mean, even like I was saying, for college, it's practically a scam. You can go to a bank and you can get 100 or hundreds of thousands of dollars of a loan from, maybe not a bank, but a form of entity, a business, so that you can afford to go to college or take out a loan from the college itself. And yet, if you want to start your own business, then unless you have amazing credit, if you're, let's say, in your 20s, then there's no chance. Unless you come from money, there's no way to make money. And then, fortunately, we have ways of this now. Social media, you can, or apps like, let's say, DoorDash or whatever, you can make some good money off of that. But I mean, how many people really hit it? How many people really become famous? How many people that can really do well with these different things? I mean, you go to learn a trade, and the fact that society is so American, or yeah, American society is so all about college, college, college. And if you don't have a college education, or let's say a college degree, then you don't know anything. Yet if you go to Canada, I mean, there's a conversation I was having with a friend that I have who from there. He was telling me all the differences with Canada versus the US, and how in the US it's a monopoly. It's all about how colleges can charge however much they want, because we let them, because they're allowed to. So you go to Harvard, you get the same education as if you were to get that same professor working part-time at, let's say, Massasoit. So the education you're getting doesn't count. It's the diploma you have, or the degree you have. And some people actually do absorb it. There are people who really, they get what they're being taught. But then there's people who have no clue. And there was a statistic taken a long while ago. I think it was another one from Dave Ramsey. I'll have to check that out. Or it might have been from Jump Cut Academy. It might have been there. One of the two things. I'll look into that. But the statistic said that a large number of college students had said they didn't feel they learned any more from being a college educated person than they hadn't learned anything from college that they didn't already know. And then you have problems with this. Oh man, this leads into education too. What is wrong with our education system? It's ridiculous. Okay, you're forced as a child to wake up at an unholy hour of the morning, usually like 5 or 6 o'clock, after having 3 hours of sleep. Then you get up, you get ready, you might have something to eat. You have a backpack that weighs twice as much as your body. You limp your way over to the bus, you hop on there. Half the kids get bullied on the bus. You get to school, and you're sitting down in possibly a not climate controlled classroom. So it's tough to even focus, because it's not even, if it's winter, it's freezing. If it's summer, it's scorching hot. And then you're listening to the square root of this or that, or the mitochondria. And then you're given like tens of hours of homework, so that you are up all night long. And heaven forbid if you have a single parent or whatever type of guardian, because they're trying to stay awake from working at their job and then trying to help you out with your homework so that you don't get a fail on your homework so you can end up graduating. But the school system itself, what I'm talking about is that it's all about, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it'll live its whole life thinking it's worthless. And the system we have right now, it's so pathetic. It's so pathetic. Math, history, and English, I think, are the only subjects that are that valuable. I mean, of course, art class too, excuse me, art and music. But the problem with them is that in regular life, you need to know how to spell, you need to know how to use proper grammar, you need to know how to calculate basic math. I don't really think I've ever had to figure out the square root of a triangle unless I want to figure out this pyramid, which that's actually something I am interested in, but we'll get on that topic later on. The average person does not need to know these things. And if schools spent more time focusing on the younger years, figuring out what kids' strengths and interests were, they get the basic stuff out of the way, such as if you go to college, you have to take English and math. I agree with that. You should have to have a basic knowledge of those things. But it's not the main thing. If you want to be a musician, you shouldn't have to learn about historical things from 500 years ago. Yes, it may be helpful to you, but it's not something that are yes, all children are forced to and prepared early for the workforce. Largest force in the world. My daughter is 5, constantly tired and drained from school. Chris, I'm with you. My mom and I were the same way all through my school years, and I've gone to many different schools because it just I couldn't handle it. The systems were so crazy, and even at 5, it's insane. It's insane what they put on these kids. One of my very close friends works with kids, and they're retraining on math. And I'm not talking about square roots of anything. I'm talking basic, I think it was multiplication that she told me about a couple years ago. And the kid that she was working with felt so unintelligent because she had no idea what she was doing. So my friend had to tell her, no, you're not unintelligent. This is not what we learned, because they had been working together before the school imposed. And even me, when I had come out of a private school, I went into a public school shortly thereafter. They retrained me on how to write the letters of the alphabet because they wanted to prove that a public school was better than the prior school I had gone to. So it's ridiculous. And then people will complain about these things. They don't do anything about it. I don't even I sound like I'm stuttering because I can't even find the words. It bothers me so much that people they don't go to these meetings at town hall. They don't vote. And I mean, even if they do vote, who knows if it really counts? There's theories out there that it doesn't count. And it's so there's a motivational video out there of education. I want to find that one because he really goes in depth on what I'm talking about. It's one of those, Facebook gives me all these updates on things like that. So I really want to find that one and hope that I can post that because it's fantastic. It's so true. But people, they complain about their 9 to 5. They complain about the doctor. They complain about the government. They complain about their house, their lack of money. They don't do anything about it. And then when people come out with solutions to it, or with like, oh, well, this happened with that politician and that one's doing this, or like, let's say, whether it's true or not, there's this new thing going on around on Facebook about Joe Biden saying that, let's see, words that I can use that won't be flagged. His interaction with certain females, I should say, how that's inappropriate, and yet people talk about it. No one does anything. Is anyone in the position to do anything about it? Well, the average Joe may not be, but it's if we come together, and people think that means rioting. And then that's how, not to say that I don't know if that would ever be a working method. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen one that went over well, but it's about communities, and it's about which is what I'm trying to do with this channel. It's about making a community. It's so that people can see what's really going on, people can share information through the different social medias that I have: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Facebook I'm about to create, excuse me, because there was an issue with that. But with Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, I want people to share different things about all of this, whether it's politics, whether it's religion, whether it's to do with like legends and, like, let's say the Egyptian so-called mythology and how it pertains to us today and what it could have meant, because everything does have to do with us today. Everything really is. It's the people in the past are considered so primitive, but you wonder how they accomplish so much. They'll dig up these ancient cities, and how Rome, let's say, granted, maybe they didn't have supercomputers, but their societies were so advanced. And then there's legend of Atlantis, and there's legend of the like Lemurians, and like on Spirit Science, I'm gonna have to share some of their stuff, because Spirit Science has amazing things about these legends and the science behind how they built the pyramids and the energy fields coming out of the pyramids, which goes into, like, let's say, cell phone use, cell phones, computers, and all these different forms of technology that we're using. And there's speculation or a statistic, I'm not quite sure which one it is, that there's been more cases of cancer in areas of the body that your phone, like, let's say brain cancer. There's been a lot of people since the release of smartphones that have had supposedly more brain cancer because, or like, let's say with blue light, they talk about blue light coming from your cell phone, that whether, especially if it's in the dark, right before you go to bed, it damages parts of your brain to the point where, and I'm not talking about frying your neurons. I'm just saying that every form of energy affects you. It does. And children don't get taught about all that ancient tech. If they do, it's very, yeah, exactly. It's and it's so interesting. It's so, I mean, the things that these ancient civilizations did, yes, there's a reason they fell, and that's another thing. Why not teach about these ancient civilizations? Why not? We have museums full of ancient history things to do with Egypt and to do with the Greeks and Mayans, and schools don't teach that. It's something that you have to find on YouTube. And parents are so busy working that kids can't go to them half the time to ask about these things. And oftentimes, because parents have been so busy their whole lives trying to make a living, that even they don't know half the things that are going on out there. And people will listen to the ones that are supposedly above them as the gospel truth. And that's it. It's like, well, no, I believe this because that person said that. If you know them well enough, then okay, great. Maybe they have some valid information, but look into stuff yourself, research things yourself, be open-minded to things, be skeptical, be open-minded, because I mean, and it's also sad that so many parents don't even know the age of social media. It's dangerous. The online bullying and kids that are self-harming and taking their own lives because of what nameless, faceless people online say to them over social media, like a random friend request on Facebook. And people, they let these artificial intelligence things control us, and it's an addiction. You go on the bus, and there's times I've been on the bus and I see every person in there is using their phone. On the occasion, I'll see someone with their earbuds. Not a single person I hardly ever see, unless they're probably 60 or older, sometimes even like 70 or older. Not anyone is interacting with the real world, and people are so nervous now. That's how Jump Cut Academy started, because the founders, Jesse and Kong, they had said that they were, society the way it is, they don't really teach you social skills anymore. So they came up with Simple Pickup, and they figured out how to get guys who were awkward about even talking to other people, forget just asking a girl out, teaching you how to be social in your 20s, in your 30s. I mean, where are we going? People are just. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I mean, again, this is the stuff that it's so sad to me where society is. I want this channel to go big because I want people to talk about this stuff. I want people that care about these things to have a place to go. It doesn't have to be just my channel. I want you to share about other channels that talk about these things. I want it to be categories. I mean, that's how I'm starting on YouTube. I'm putting in playlists because I want it to be, everything to do with 9/11, everything to do with David Wilcock, everything to do with, let's say, what's wrong with the school system. There's so many different topics I want to go into, and I'm so sick and tired of trying to. I don't have enough time to talk to people, so social media is the new party. It's like no one really even has parties anymore. You either go to the club or you just hop online. So this is a new thing. I'm talking to a screen, so I can hopefully reach out to people and say, get off your screen. No human and where there is, they almost feel, yeah, exactly. It is so, I mean, I keep saying it's so sad. I'm being redundant there. It's amazing to me how people will go online and they have no problem saying any unfiltered vulgarity to someone or make a comment that, I mean, some of the comments that I've had, even not that they're like awful, but people have no problem disagreeing with you online. No issue at all with that. In person, however, oftentimes people are so concerned about pleasing everyone else and about like not disrupting anything. And they don't like speaking their real opinions. That's part of the reason this channel. I'm I, I don't get that many comments, but I'm getting hundreds of hours of views. People are interested in these things, and they're just it's almost like some people even online are too afraid to interact, but people they don't want it to be real. They want to learn about it and kind of maybe be scared, but uh yeah, people are keyboard warriors. I mean, even the music artist Pink, she had posted a video of her with her two kids at the beach, and she was blasted for that. People were going crazy over that picture. So I think what happened, correct me if I'm wrong, she pulled the picture down off the net, and then she made a post about how people are so vulgar that she's just not even gonna bother anymore because people want to parent other kids. They want to, you send your kids to school, and half the time going to school, it's just. Hopefully, I'm not actually yelling. I know my voice is getting high, but people send their kids to school, and it's more about survival than it is about learning. And I mean, it's just and Chris, believe me, thank you so much. I'm glad that someone's I'm glad there is someone out there live who's of like mind, because I'm like, the views are going high, but people are not wanting to interact right now, and I get it, but I want this to go big. I want so bad for people to be comfortable sharing their thoughts on this stuff. I want people to, if nothing else, I want people to have a place to go to figure stuff out, because there's just not enough honest information there about it. People that go online for this stuff, it's crazy conspiracies, or it's filtered down conspiracies. It's very little real stuff, very little like juice out there. There's precious little of it, and it's so sad. I mean, like, but again, it just goes back into, I want to know what people want me to search for. I want to know what people want to hear more about. I mean, it's starting off on just, this is the general basic what interests I have. I'm being very broad. If you want more specific info about stuff, I will look for it. I'll look for it the best I can. I'll see what I can broadcast. If it's not a video, I'll either turn it into one or I'll post it on another social media, probably do both. I mean, I may even eventually have a website. I'll probably have a blog at some point because I don't know. There's so much there's so much covered up. There's so much out there that's not. It's crazy, you know. And yeah, something needs to. Thank you, Barbara. Multiple subjects, but yeah, it's just everything. I feel like I keep saying the same thing over and over. So yeah, it's man, 5 years old. That's early. That is early to be making kids do that. I mean, I think you'd be having fun. Funny. It's so important for Pink to even tell the world what her children are doing. Right, exactly. She should be keeping them away from that type of social media. Honestly, it's totally irrelevant. Well, and I agree. And I mean, it's kind of both sides, because on one hand, you want to see celebrities, and I include politicians when I say that, because really they are. I mean, how much time do they really spend on governing us? So when it comes to celebrities, it's as if you're signing a contract of being spied on. Your whole life is being monitored, and I mean, that's for the average person, but it's more well, it is leaving her wide open for criticism. And I mean, and her kids too, because people are just there. It's no one's business about this stuff. And people, like I was saying earlier, you would never approach her and say that you think it's horrible that she would do this or that, whatever. But online, there's keyboard warriors and people who couldn't care less what they say, and how there's real people that are reading these comments, real people that you're affecting their lives. And the world is full of critics. And I mean, hardly anyone gives. People make one mistake and it's there for the world to see. It's everyone. It doesn't matter. I mean, the world is seeing the mistake and they'll take it down for it. There is videos out there of YouTubers who have made one mistake and they'll be bombarded on every form of social media for you too, Chris. It was thanks for joining in. So yeah, it's just I'm just really hoping that I can get this channel to get even more subscribers quick. I mean, it's doing pretty well for a new channel, but I'm trying to make this thing work. So let's see what we can do. Give me one moment. I need to go double check on one thing. My phone is blowing up. I shall be right back. This chair is very poofy. It likes to make noise whenever I so much as breathe. Yeah, it's a nice chair. Can't complain about it, but yeah, it's one of those things. So, on to topic. It's still getting stuff on my phone. So yeah, I just want to see if I can really make this work. I want to see if I can start growing the channel more. I want to see just how much I can get out of this live. I want to see just how well I can make it work out. Hopefully I can get this to work in my favor. Checking an update right now. Let's see what this has to tell me. And come on, load up. Good here. All right, there we are. And yeah, all right, pretty decent. All right, cool. So yeah, well, looks like it's working pretty well. Awesome. All right, so let's see what else. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just here to once I reach that 1,000 subs, then I can stop for right now. Let's see. Yeah, all right. Check on my phone. All right, guys. Well, thank you again to Chris. Thank you again to Barbara. And I am going to sign off of this live. Hopefully you enjoy. And let's see where this goes.